Sure. So actually, this is our third year with Mr. Khan endorsing the face wash category for us. And if I have to take you back, what was the thought and what was the intent? I think the first thing that we wanted to focus was this category of face wash. It was a very important category for us. And primarily, what we believe is eventually we know that skincare is going to be a very gender neutral, kind of a zone. And we wanted a voice, a person who can increase the credibility and who can talk to the masses and is someone who is liked by man, women, children, everyone. And the moment you kind of put these things together, there are very few faces that come to your mind. And I think Mr. Khan is just one of those few personalities who has transcended the boundaries of gender, age, every group of people. When you come across and when you read even the book that was written on him, will clearly define the fact that he's kind of a phenomena that cuts across all age group, all gender, and that's the kind of person we needed, like the voice that we needed to focus on a category which we were trying to, go really deep into. And I think that was the basic intent. And there were questions, of course, the year that we started with Mr. Khan, there were initially a lot of people who did question the fact that, are you sure? Because people might think you are doing a men's face wash. But my
Mhm.
question was a little different. My question back to them was that, by any chance, do you think the women that we're trying to speak to are going to reject because it is endorsed by a man? And mind you, so he's not a man, he's Mr. Khan.
He's a
They said
legend.
no. Yeah, the legend said, are those five women not going to buy it because it is? Oh, no, no, of course, Monica. Then I don't mind if five other men buy it by thinking it is also meant for them. So that's the power of endorser that we look forward to. And it is not that we also have very realistic understanding how business work. We were not under the impression that he's going to speak and the whole world is going to run towards buying it. No, what a endorser or what a credible person like him does is, in this
Mhm.
day and age when so much is spoken about various types of product, when there is so much competition in the market, I think what primarily he does, he brings the credibility. And you tend to believe that, okay, this person is never going to endorse something which he's not aware of, which he does not trust.
Right.
And that is much needed for a lot of, us today as consumers and as brands, because there are too many of them for a consumer to choose from.
Mhm.
So that was our intent, the mass appeal that we wanted to bring to this category, the way we wanted to move forward, in this category. We knew that this is the kind of zone that we have to take, and that's the reason. And of course, a lot of debates. He's already done something like this long back, if you remember. It was a clutter baking advertisement from one of the most renowned house of brands of India, much, much earlier. And I'm so glad, that after 2, 3 years, especially because, as you know, we all debate this internally. And of course, these debates, something we also had internally. Last year, I think the winter saw a lot of male endorsers in very renowned MNC brands as well, in lotion categories. And I just had a smile on my face. I said, good, it's okay. People are warming up to this idea. And that's more like it. Those are the pointers we did keep in mind. So we've been very this has been our own learning. So one of our very important category and a very high volume driven category for us is a moisturizing category. And the lead product over there has been honey and almond lotion and honey and almond cream. And when because we are a mass brand for India and from India, we had this understanding long back that ingredients which already have an existence understanding in the mind of consumers, Indian consumers, uh, helps us, you know, talk to them. And I think they already know what these ingredients do to them. And the acceptance is very, very easy. Because again, shahad and badam, these are two things that are very prevalent in each of our North Indian household during winters. So, we had these learnings and we were trying to also get this into the face wash category. We have like couple of them in terms of offering. We have lemon face wash, papaya face washes, and they're great. Upton is also again, we realize that it's such a strong ingredient. Like all of us in Indian household have like heard and used it at different phases of our life, and it does work. The ingredients are just not for the heck of it. They're just not there. I mean, I have had stories from so many of my friends, and I'm sure each one of us will agree to this. We all tend to try so many fancy for ingredient here, and then we come back to the very they were like, oh God, you know what, this is so good, and these things are something we used to use, but now after using so many types of ingredients, you go back to your basics.
Yes.
And it does have the potential. It's just not that because it has been existing and people are thinking. I think the formulation for this product is fantastic and very, very good for the Indian climate as well. What exactly do we expect from a face wash? Different people have different expectations from a face wash, depending on the skin type and also to a large extent where you stay and what part of the year you
Mm.
are. Because it's very hot and humid. Summers are very high in our country, and the cleansing that we need once somebody has a very active lifestyle and is going out and coming in with the pollution and everything, you want something that actually makes you feel very fresh.
Mm.
Tanning is something we all go through. So the ingredient that has been used in this product, the formulation that has been done, and we just felt that this should be more easily available for the young consumers of our country, because you come back from work, you college and all that, you do want to like sit with that. That becomes a very Saturday, Sunday phenomena. Ki chutti ke din I'll do
Mm.
that. How can we bring this to a regular lifestyle? And that was one of the reason we really worked hard on the formulation, and the team has done a fantastic job with the formulation. It's a great product, and therefore we thought this is really picking up in the market. And the first couple of years we tested it. We were initially we promote two or three of our products.
Mm.
There was such a nice acceptance of Upton face wash in the market that it propelled us to say, okay, this is the time when it is catching up and we really need to be out there with it, and that's the reason for it. Mr. Khan coming into our, portfolio with face wash has definitely helped us. When I look at it from business perspective, it has helped the entire organization, including our sales team, to understand that, we have one of the biggest endorsers. And they did
Mm.
their best to make sure the products are available across the length and breadth of the country, and that obviously the visibility of the ad, the availability of the product in different marketplaces, quick commerce, e-commerce, modern trade, general trade, has helped us grow this particular category in a a very, very good growth in the last 3 years. And it's a very tough category, and we have been growing strength to strength, and it has definitely helped. So where we come from is it's just not one thing. It is a
Mm.
very big ripple effect. When you have such a big endorser, it
Mm.
gives a huge boost to the authenticity, the credibility, the morale, the morale, and you know that you're reaching out to your audiences in the large, in a much larger capacity. So that's when the entire business starts flowing. You have to ensure that, see, at the same time, I don't see it's a very proper thought through approach. I'll have a high decibel campaign with a very one of the biggest superstar of the country. Using that propeller, I have to make sure my products are available to my consumers at a, at every channel, because I have to be realistic. I'm selling a face wash. If I'm doing a high decibel Right. campaign, nobody's, yeah, they might like the ad, but if for a face wash, nobody's going to go to 7 kilometers and buy one. You would either order it on a quick com or an e-com, or they want to see it in the next, modern trade store, which is next to their apartment, or maybe in the Kirana store, which is next to their house. I need to be present also. And then there's an instant recall when we do the POP. They enter the shop or the place. Oh yeah, I saw this. This seems to be. Let me try this out. And then they look at it. They look at the price. They're like, oh, okay, fantastic price. Blah blah blah. Let me give it a shot. Yeah, so it is a beautiful process, but it's fantastic to work in tandem with this entire, understanding this entire process. And I think it has done a lot of good to us, and we have seen the multiplier effect in the last 3 years. I would put it across in this manner that it's not only the investment, it's the investment and the efforts that has made us grow at a, year on year at a 20-25%. That's great. So which is substantially a good indicator. We're not a funded company. We're not an IPO. We are very, very conservative when it comes to working the business. Our management is very clear about the fact that uh, we will make sure that we run business with profits. So you can very well understand that every time we spend money, we have to be judicious to make sure that this gives us the ROI. Having said that, they're also very understand, and they're also very, how would I say, intelligent and smart to understand that it's not performance marketing that we are playing on. Mm. When you invest in something which is, this is a large format investment, therefore we have to give it its time to recover, and that has happened. It's as we mentioned, everybody asks me this question when we do it in the first year, and we make a joke internally that, "Hey, we are not selling substance that people are going to run to buy a product just because I've done a heavy decibel campaign." No, that's not FMCG. That's not personal care. We're into the game of FMCG, but we take up this investment always over a 2-3 period of time, because distribution, channels, everything has to be aligned. Right. The disalignment happens when we see that, okay, it's dipping, it's not growing. The quantum of growth will only start showing in the second year, third year, and that has happened to us. And therefore, we say that this category, which we aimed for a market share, we did gain market share. And I must tell you this, that in face wash category, there are the players that we compete with are coming from very, very giant houses. I have no qualms in saying it's Himalaya and Ponds. They're the two biggest competitors we have. And imagine the the mammoth task we have to have a market share along with them, and we're still standing strong, and we're almost in we almost have almost 5 to 7% of the market, and we don't sell in south, we only sell in e-commerce to south. So we have a decent share, and we understand where we are competing, how we are competing, where we are going. So yeah, it's a tough category. We've been doing well. We have a very clear differentiating factor right from the beginning. If you see, we are the only Indian homegrown skincare brand. We do have a lot of homegrown brands, but they have one or two categories, and mostly into categories like soap, oil, not much into skincare and personal care, to be precise. So, that being said, there is a lot of influx of new age brand that exists in the digital space and mostly sells through quick com and e-com. And they've been doing, some of them have been doing fairly well, and have opened up a lot of new categories for consumers. Earlier consumers had a very limited understanding and availability of skincare per se. But we are not in direct competition with these brands, simply because of the fact that we are a mass brand and there is a huge difference in the price point indexing. Okay. We want to be present in a e-com and a quick com because we want to be available to our consumers, but we still know where are we are for Bharat. We're not for India. Our brand is for Bharat. We understand the middle belly. That is where my gameplay is. And we understand that there is a lot of aspiration that is also over there. If we can fulfill the aspiration of Bharat, and that's the playground for me, then I think I mean, our ambition, the ambition that we have in terms of the numbers of the business can easily be achieved from there. So, technically, we are not a premium brand. We're a mass brand. Our price point indexing is the same. Our potential consumers lie very differently. Their habits have, uh, I wouldn't say changed, but their ways of communication, mediums where they spend time have increased, and so are we also present in all those mediums. We believe that there is a whole lot of gameplay left for us because, again, uniquely so, we are the only homegrown brand in India who has an offering of skincare, a range of offering. You have a face wash, you have a sunscreen, you have an ultralight gel, you have a light cream, you have a deep moisturizing cream. So the entire portfolio from cleansing to moisturizing to protection is something you find under one roof. And uniquely so, we are currently the only mass homegrown brand in India who offers that. Uh, Currently, we have our product portfolio is pretty much um, as per the need of our consumers. We are there, but there is a constant R&D department. We have internal departments which is working on improvising and also working on certain products. So for example, if I let's take the moisturizing category. We had one of the highest selling products, which is the honey and almond cream. But you know what, we just knew that I need to have some. We realized that there is a need of a very light moisturizing for the summers. And even though we were selling a lot of that product, which was in the winters, and it's a very well accepted product, but our R&D department didn't say that, Acha, theek hai, okay, one product, great hero, gone now. We keep selling that. We started work on this beautiful product couple of years back, which is a ultralight gel cream, having a sense and understanding that this is going to come up because consumers feel the need of having some kind of hydration, which is absolutely non-sticky. But the summer months are 7 to 8 months long, and there is a category that will, slowly emerge. So we worked on that and we launched that. Similarly, understanding the different types of consumer and need of face washes. Like one face wash might not be enough for everybody to be used. So what are each product that we launch, we try to have a segment of people and what we are addressing, what kind of needs we are addressing for them. That becomes extremely crucial. So, not that there is a massive media launch of any of these products for next year. This year, we did launch Hydra Gel on media space as well. We will eventually look at a couple of more categories that might need media support or where we want to grow aggressively. As of now, from a product perspective, there are changes that are made to the product to, improvise it and make it better. There are also some additional variants that come out in categories in order to make sure that the consumer who is coming should be able to have a choice according to their needs. So that's more like it. From a media launch perspective, face washes, we have winter lotions, and then we definitely have Hydra gel, which have been promoted across all medium.
or something like that?
We do have couple of serums and all that, but for sure we have products that are available. But when we talk of them supporting them on a larger scale, if we look at market penetration, and no, the category sizes are not that big. So again, being a player in the FM, so we are uniquely placed. We are a personal care brand and into the FMCG segment, right? So for us, volume does matter, and therefore the category size has to be substantially a little big for us to play, because that's when we make the monies. Because you have to understand that my products are not a 1600, 1700, or 2000 rupees product where selling a couple of thousands will make me profitable. No, we are a mass player, therefore volume matter for us. Therefore a category which is highly consumed or is a large consumption category makes it much more easy for a player like me to play. Also, we have a huge network of sales, marketing, and distribution. If you look at the distribution part of it, we have a very large scale distribution which is on ground also, like general trade and modern trade. So volume generation is very important. Therefore, understanding the size of the category and therefore investing it also makes a lot of difference. Right. So, the media landscape of India is evolving. I wouldn't say changing. Changing is a very drastic word. I think it's evolving, and we all know that we started from the era of print advertising to television advertising. Mass media channels. Now the question is, right now, where are my consumers? My consumers are There's a part of my consumers which are still on linear TV. A part of my consumers have opted for CTV. My consumers live YouTube has entered. They're watching content on YouTube. They're also watching content on their social medias like Meta, different platforms on Meta. They're watching micro drama series. They're also, getting into their local activation points that they're in touch with. So technically speaking, if I need to, if do I want to be present in every form of media? Yes. Can I? No. I have to prioritize. Keeping that in mind, I think our media mix currently, as we see, has linear TV, has CTV, does have YouTube, does have Meta, does have influencer, does have local activation, and these are majorly this, from a media perspective is where we are. So broadly, digital, linear, CTV, breaking it down, Meta, Google, you have linear TV, you have CTV, and also in that there are various other platforms. For example, this performance marketing, blah blah blah, everything. We also do a lot of trade marketing for general trade. So these are the activities, but when I come from the media reach perspective, linear, CTV, YouTube, Meta, combination of all of them. We are very clear that we have always been a young brand. We'll reach out to the young consumer, but even a young or see, theoretically speaking, has India uh, been digitized? Yeah, I mean, UPI is the biggest example. Most of the people, from the remotest and far places, people are using it. Yeah. But does that mean that there is a subscription led incremental stuff like everybody is subscribing to a Netflix, Amazon, or other OTT platforms? No, there is always a pick and choose. So our question is we try to use various tools to see where we can combine it. For example, we also have a large amount of digital spends, but the question is where am I spending? What are my mediums? So digital, when you say digital, it's a huge landscape today. It can't be. There's a lot of brands which are new age brands, especially when their channel of sales is only e-commerce and quick commerce. They spend a whole lot of money on performance marketing because that works for them. And for us also, we do performance marketing in order to make sure that we have good amount of sales that happens for. But beyond that, when it comes from the brand marketing, product marketing perspective, yes, we use YouTube. Yes, we use meta platforms like Instagram and Facebook and influencer marketing. Three big chunks go there. We started off 100% television, and therefore now over the years we are also in a position where we have almost increased 45-50% share on digital, and the rest is on linear TV and CTV. That increase has happened because whether Gen Z or not, I think everybody has a mobile today and is on some social media network. And the idea is, how interestingly can I reach out to them, and do I need to be present with them? Yeah. But again, there are some cord cutters completely, but that is still so there are reasons why we have to understand these things where in a very different way. See, an under eye cream, when you're trying to sell, you might want to sell to an individual. But then there are still a lot of middle income household in India where the lotion ka dabba comes one, which needs a household penetration. And so when you look at a TV and all, it's a household penetration. So if I have to penetrate, so which are the categories and what I'm trying to sell is also very important. It's not all. There are some categories like a lotion and all, which requires me to go through the household, and then I again nudge them in their personal spaces, which is on the digital spaces of social media where they're hanging out and talking and consuming stuff. So that is a very thing that if every media has its own power. So it's not decide. It's not like disseminating the power. We have to understand that we cannot neglect the power of each of these medias also, the mediums per se. Okay, you cannot go through social media and be present in the household. And you don't need to do that if you're trying to sell a very individualistic approach of a pimple remove or maybe under eye cream or an darkening elbow cream. But when you know that, okay, when a household has a annual monthly income of 50,000 rupees, and if you do a basic amount of research, you will realize that 300 rupees ka dabba, the 300 ml ka dabba is the lotion that is common to the family. They're not buying 300 ml ka separate lotions. So in this category, I have to nudge the decision maker individually also, but at the same time, I also need to be present in the household atmosphere. So therefore, a combination of CTV and a linear TV with digital spaces and influencer marketing works.